Hello everybody, my name is Ryan Mahady, and today Hello everybody, my name is Ryan Mahady, and today I will be talking about employee turnover, the millennial uprising, and the complex issue. Hello everybody, my name is Ryan Mahady, and today I'll be talking about the complex problem of employee turnover and the millennial uprising. Within our current workplace, employee retention has become a rising complex issue for many companies across the world. When it comes to any company, regardless of what industry they are in, their employees are one of their biggest assets. When employee turnover rates began to elevate in 2011, it has become imperative that organizational leadership can look into and find ways to boost employee commitment and buy on the company initiatives to help them stay. Recently, for example, the Society of Human Resource Management revealed that 1 in 3 workers want to leave their positions in a survey. When analyzing that survey, a company is expected to lose 1 in every 3 employees they hire within 6 months. Wilkie, 2016. The approach to provide a solution to employee turnover will be a psychological focus on understanding how employees work, gain commitment, love their position in companies, and how companies can communicate positively while increasing business productivity. Furthermore, if we can understand the true motivations and how to boost the employee morale within a corporate atmosphere, we can understand how to properly communicate with employees to boost retention and alleviate the consequences of high employee turnover. The end result of combining ideas and thoughts from psychology, business, and communications will allow us to have a whole understanding of how to create a work atmosphere and resolve the negative conflict of turnover. Within the modern job day field, it has become more and more evident that there are plenty of opportunities for anyone who is looking for work. With the modern advancements like smartphones, smartphone applications, websites like LinkedIn, Monster.com, Snagajob.com, and more, opportunities are much more open and available to anyone who may be interested. In addition, websites like LinkedIn provide recruiters the opportunity to reach out to more people, which will increase the effectiveness of their outreach to fill in more positions. This modern-day job availability and enhanced possibilities of looking for new jobs is great. However, it can lead to a consistent mindset of abundance, which can cause a creative or a negative effect on employee retention for current companies. When we look at the actual aspect of the employee turnover and why it's bad, for one, it's very costly. It lowers employee morale and it can lower productivity. Only 9% of companies actually know the indirect cost of turnover. In addition, 52% of turnover occurs within the first year. When we look at those facts, what that actually is telling us is that we need to take a step back to when an employee first begins with any company that they choose. When an employee starts, the company is actually going through training, and they're actually training this employee, which costs money out of pocket because that employee is not quite yet generating any type of revenue, which costs a lot of money. Plus the leadership that is involved that's teaching them how to do their jobs better, the salaries of those individuals who are doing the training, and so on and so forth. What disciplines can be applied to provide a solution to this complex problem? Employee turnover can be combated by looking at ways to increase employee retention. Employee turnover is complex because we're dealing with the psychology of individuals, communication from organizational leadership, which is a business aspect, all while focusing on running a productive company. Turnover statistics. So according to Comp Data Surveys, they conducted a survey that found that at the end of 2015, all industries had an annual average turnover rate of 16.7. Within that total percent of turnover, 11.6 of it was voluntary, which means that the employee left on their own will. So essentially, we can say that only 5% of turnover in the end of 2015 was initiated by company, whether that's letting people go due to the company downsizing, bad performance, any of those things, which isn't good. From 2008 to 2015, voluntary turnover rate has elevated 2.5%. Now, the reason why this information is important is because we now can introduce the millennials into this whole picture. So Generation Y, which is also known as the millennials, have steadily elevated their presence in the workforce over the last decade. In 2001, the millennials had a workplace population of 10 million workers, Generation X had 50 million workers, and the baby boomer generation had 65 million workers. In 2013, when we take a step back to the previous slide where we began to see the increase of voluntary turnover, The millennial presence had actually elevated to 53.6 million, which means that the millennial aspect of the workforce had gained 43.6 million workers. Generation X increased to 53.6 million, and the baby boomer generation actually decreased 44.6 to 44.6 million, which was a decrease of 21 million workers. So we lost 21 million workers from the baby boomer generation, and we actually gained another 20%, 20 plus percent on top of that. Millennials and their mindsets. Amy Adkins from the Gallup Business Journal found that the millennial generation was the generation where they are most likely to change jobs. 6 of 10 millennials are open to new job opportunities, and millennials are the least engaged generation in the workplace. Samantha Linden from Walden University found that the increase of millennials is that they are the ones that are filling in the retiring baby boomers. So as these older positions are getting retired and people are leaving the workforce and they're retiring and living on, the millennials are the ones who are actually pushing themselves into those roles and continuing it on. Samantha Linden also conducted a survey and found that the biggest motivating factor for a millennial is the opportunity for advancement or growth, compensation, and recognition. So within the millennial mindset, why should they stay? Within the millennial generation, we have seen the biggest technology boom. With an increase of smartphones, the internet going from dial-up to high speeds and Wi-Fi, we've created a lot of websites like LinkedIn, Monster, and Snagajob. This kind of technology was not available back then, and now our networking is so much easier than it once was. If a millennial does not have the job satisfaction that they want to have, they can easily change companies. We can also conclude that if they're focused on advancement being one of their motivations from the previous research, they will leave and they will go to another company to achieve that advancement that they wanted, that they were unable to retrieve from a previous position. So what solutions are there? Coming at this complex problem, we really have 2 different disciplines that can be applicable to the solution. So within psychology, we can use an understanding of employees, what motivates them to perform better, what will make them want to stay with their companies, and meet their wants and needs. If we take a shift over to the business aspect, we can look at the organizational leadership and ways to boost employee recognition and employee satisfaction through things like surveys. Employee surveys are actually a very important thing because it lets people know what's really going on in the company. When you think about it, the lower level employees and management, those are the employees that are actually dealing with the customers and they're making things happen out in the field. And they're doing a lot of the work that's face to face. So when they have feedback on what's good and what's not good about the company, that type of information is definitely imperative to get to upper management so that they can really reflect on that and change with the way that the consumer changes. And then last but not least, within communication, it is vital that we're communicating both ways with employees on all levels. So that does go from executive down to our lower level employees as well. So combating employee turnover with psychology. Aruna and Athena in 2015 found that millennials are more loyal to the job, not the companies. They also found that millennials are more loyal or had more loyalty if they're in a luxury workplace and had good mentor support. Iqbal Hazmi in 2015 found that employee empowerment led to higher employee engagement and loyalty and provided the companies with more fulfilling employees. Harmon, Lee, Mitchell, Phelps, and Owens in 2007 found that if an employee's pay or promotion opportunities were not up to their expectations, their dissatisfaction would increase their desirability of movement. So if they weren't hitting their expectations, their dissatisfaction would continue to increase, as well as their desirability to move forward with another company who would provide that to them. Dan Krim and Gerard elaborated on their theory of the 10 C's to success: connection, career, clarity, convey, congratulate, contribute, control, which is empowerment, collaboration, credibility, and confidence. They found that these 10 C's were aspects in business that could be implemented that would increase employee retention. Larkin found that employee turnover can be combated with good compensation practices and management to monitor satisfaction within salary and act accordingly. Larkin also found communication is key. Employees have intimate knowledge of tasks and know the most efficient ways to accomplish them. James and Matthew found through their research of an IT firm that corporate strategies were found useful were rewards and recognition, training and development opportunities, mentoring and coaching sessions, career planning, flexible work time, suggestion plans, annual performance reviews, financial support, and benefits. So when we look at this complex problem and we look at the different disciplines on different ways and perspectives that we can come at this, the way that we can really integrate both of the disciplines more so than anything else is that we can see that upward and downward communication is vital for success, whether we're looking at it from a psychological or business. But when we take both of those disciplines and we put them together and we use the communication aspect as the car that's really driving that message, the main solutions are actually salary, opportunities for advancement, empowerment, and open communication. So all in all, with an increase in technology, we are better able to find opportunities if our current one does not meet our standards or expectations. Many positions are being vacated as the baby boomers are retiring, and millennials are going to continue to fill those positions. Thus, they're increasing their presence, and it means that they're increasing employee turnover as well. Millennials are also more loyal to the pay and position versus the company. So that's something that companies should look at on how they can boost the atmosphere of their company or corporation to enhance the employee to feel like that's a place where they're driving forward and they're really a part of something really big. Organizations can have difficulty with employee engagement because it has to do with individuals, and each person has different expectations and styles in the workplace. So all in all, we can pretty much look at it and we can say that a really good solution when we integrate business and psychology, utilizing communication as the driving force behind that, is we really should take care of the employees in a way that's fair between all of them, regardless of their background or the way that they work and style flexing. But instead that we should be looking at it in the ways that we could best take care of each individual employee and provide a work atmosphere in which they feel like they're buying on to something really big. Through these researches, it was also pretty much within the empowerment aspect and the communications aspect, we're starting to see that a lot of people, when they feel like they're a part of something big, that their feedback is taken serious and that they're empowered to make the right decisions whenever they're faced with a customer face to face without having to go get a supervisor or go by a rule in which they don't really align themselves with. They start feeling that disconnect of when they're actually there just to earn the paycheck versus being passionate for what they do. And so all in all, wrapping it all up, the integration of business and communications is a really good solution to this complex problem. And thank you guys very much.